Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of American Honey.
An American Honey.
So there is a ton of buzz surrounding this film coming off of the festival circuit. There was even awards discussion. I know a ton of people have this on their most anticipated movies of the fall, so I was pretty excited heading into American Honey. That excitement went exponentially down once the film started, though, because I think it gets off, especially like the second half of the first act, it gets to a screeching halt. But by the end, it had hooked me back in, and I have to say, I ended up really enjoying this movie. So let's just go ahead and speak of the positives. First of all, the direction style was wonderful, and the cinematography is gorgeous. I loved the shots that were selected here. I thought it really straddled that line of being super artsy and beautiful while also feeling extremely real. It all just felt lived in. It felt like we were experiencing this film with the characters. It was a really amazing thing to be a part of and experience. And then part of that also goes to the actors. I think everybody who was in this film acted their part very, very well. Even Shia LaBeouf, I know he gets some stuff and he has this little rat tail in the movie, but he was very good. Everybody sold their parts amazingly well. And going back to that realism, the story just felt authentic. It felt real. I kind of expected American Honey to give us this, glamorized millennial young people going on a trip and doing nothing kind of view of the world. Instead, it gave a really gritty, really raw view of a different type of American reality. These are kids who have been abandoned by the system, who have fallen through the cracks, who don't really have anybody. And it did an amazing job of showing the escalation of what happens to you when you're in this situation. How easily you can be swooped up into a group. How easily you can fall into not the best atmosphere, not the best situations. And it was heartbreaking, and it was also, joyous at times. So I think We Found Love by Rihanna actually was the perfect song, because most all of the situations in this film really felt hopeless. But then you found the optimism in it. Then they revealed the hope. And I think, again, that was just such a sophisticated direction to take the movie. It conveyed it so beautifully. How this part of America survives is, even in the most hopeless of situations, even in dire conditions with no money, doesn't seem like you're going to make it, there is always some sort of hope. You're always able to find some sort of enjoyment. And I think that ends up being the charm of the film. Also, the soundtrack was amazing. Just superb from start to finish. And the title track, American Honey, makes one appearance in the film. And I think it was my favorite scene of the entire movie. It took my breath away. I found it so extremely touching. There's just one key moment in there I absolutely loved, and I think that's when it really sold me. I think the entire end of this movie was amazing. I was left feeling the love I was hoping I would feel for this movie. But that's going to actually lead us kind of into a good segue of the things I don't think the film did very well. First of all, it is very long. And it is not a plot-driven film. It's one of those kind of experience films that you're meant to just be there with the characters. Reminded me a lot of ways of a Richard Linklater type film. But it is just so long that parts of it do stray off. And you're like, okay, well, let's get moving. One thing the film does do well, though, I was never disinterested in what happened to these characters. Even when I didn't like them. Just inevitably, a good half an hour probably could have been cut out of this film, and we still would have been okay. I do think we would have lost some of the special factor here, but it still would have been fine. Because there are parts where it drags a little bit too much, and you're like, okay, I wish we would have trimmed this city down, I wish we would have tripped this road trip down, or we could have cut one of these little road trip montage sequences. So it's just a little bit long. Also, the very beginning sets it up okay. But then that second half of the first act really makes you not enjoy the characters. They start doing kind of terrible things. They do very unsympathetic things, and it made it hard to get reinvested in what happened to these characters because you're feeling so bad for other people that are in the film. So our title girl, she really straddles that line between just kind of like irritatingly naive and blunt and just like, ugh, to, okay, we gotta come back around. Shia LaBeouf's character, the same thing. You're like, oh, you're doing some terrible stuff. Alright, but you got me back. But I'm gonna let both of those negatives loop me back into positives of the movie. Because I think while we're straddling that line of, are you a good person, are you a bad person, it really showed the complexities again of this life. Our main character, no matter how far astray she went, it was for a purpose always. It was to survive in her eyes. It was the only way she could survive. But they would do these wonderful moments with her, with animals, that really struck a chord on what type of actually good person she was. And that circumstances are so hard to overcome, and they just shape who you are. And it really displayed just how hard it is to come from these situations where you've been left and feel like nobody cares about you and you know you have no money, to come out of there and really dream of more and push forward toward more. There is a sequence about what are your dreams that really hits home on this point, and I thought, again, it was just an extremely touching sequence. And that's what this movie does so well. It captured a part of America that is overlooked, and it just fully enveloped that experience. It made you feel with these people. It made you judge these people, kind of like how society does judge them. But ultimately, it gives you kind of an understanding and helped you empathize with what these kind of people go through and what this part of America that is overlooked is experiencing probably right now. So overall, I really liked American Honey. There's some rough patches, but I left the film feeling completely enchanted. So I definitely say go see this in a theater. It's not necessarily a feel-good movie, so I say give it a matinee. I don't think you'll be sorry. So that's been my review of American Honey. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see American Honey? And what is your favorite experience kind of film? Let me know either in the comment section down below or hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!